Alright, hey everybody, what's going on? This is Levi here from the TheWocclan, and today I'm going to be starting something new that I haven't ever done before, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I hope it goes out well. Anyway, today I'm going to be going over today and probably this next week and the week after, I'm going to be going over the entire story of the Bible, so it's probably going to be a 3-week series, 10 minutes each, and this episode I'll go through the first half of the Old Testament, and then I'll go through the second half in the next week, and finally I'll go over the New Testament in the last week. So this is going to be a pretty basic overview, and I'm not going to be giving specific I'm not going to specifically read the Bible. I'm just going to give a really broad overview because I'm hoping that if you guys are not really interested in this sort of stuff, or you never really have found interest in it, hopefully you will just be appealed by the story at least. So I hope you stick around for this, even if you don't believe right now or anything like that. You know, it's your decision, but hopefully you stick around because it's a pretty awesome story whether you believe it or not. And so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and start here with creation. So in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. He created all things in a week of 7 days, or in a period of 7 days, a week long. He started with, the light, and then he moved on to forming the earth, and then eventually he moved into forming the plants and then the animals. And finally, after he had created all that stuff, he created man. He created Adam, who was the first human ever alive. And so God saw that that was good, and on the last day of that week, he rested. And so that's basically the beginning of the story, and let's go ahead and keep going. It's pretty cliche, I know a lot of you guys know that story, but let's just keep going here. In the beginning, everything was perfect, but God decided that Adam, he was the first man, didn't have a partner. He needed somebody who was like him, so he created Eve, and that was the first, couple. The first husband and wife, I guess, of the world. So anyway, at this point in time, there was no sin. Everything was perfect. Everybody got along in harmony. There was a perfect relationship between God, who is the creator, and Adam and Eve, who were the creation. And this is really key because here you're going to see here in a sec, this whole thing gets screwed up. So God and Adam and Eve lived in a garden, and at one point there was a serpent in the garden, or a snake, and that's Satan, and he tempted Adam and Eve into disobeying God. I'm going to go really basic again, but basically God just told them not to eat fruit from a tree, and Satan had, I guess, persuaded them, tempted them into thinking it was okay, and so that's what they did, and sin just became, yeah, that's basically it. God cannot be in presence of sin. He is perfect, so because of that, Adam and Eve, unfortunately, were punished they were exiled, basically, from heaven, from God, and so they went on to the earth. Excuse me there. So yeah, they went on to the earth, and they were no longer allowed to be in God's presence because they were now impure. Sin had entered them, and yeah. So when they were on earth, they had their first kids. These were the first kids in the whole Bible, Cain and Abel. And this is basically an extension of how the sin kind of carried out. At one point, Abel actually murdered Cain, and this is just an example of how once they got to the world, it actually took almost no time at all, and sin already had happened. Obviously, it's pretty obvious that you shouldn't murder somebody regardless of what faith you have. So that was unfortunate, and yeah, God was not happy with Cain, and that's just kind of how things played out. More and more people were made, obviously from man, and sin just kept growing and spreading like crazy. And over a period of, I'm guessing, a couple thousand years, is not really specific, sin became so bad that God decided that he wanted to destroy his creation. And he decided that because there was just so much sin and things had not gone how he had wanted to because of sin/Satan entering the world. And by the way, I'll get to a couple questions at the end of this, or if you have a question, you can always leave a comment. But basically, he decided he wanted to destroy the world, except for there was one person and their family, and that was Noah and his family, who was faithful to God and did as God had commanded them. So what he said is he told Noah specific instructions to make an ark. And on that ark, when he was finished, he was to bring every animal on earth. Now, obviously, this is crazy. Nobody knows how he got all the animals onto the earth, but, God does miracles all the time, so that's how that happened. And so Noah and his family aborted the ark, and the Lord sent a great flood that basically just flooded the entire world. It's kind of hard to imagine, but imagine an entire world surrounded by water. Yeah, there's no islands or anything. Kind of like if you've seen Star Wars, what's that planet where the clones are made? Anyway, so after that happened, the Lord receded the waters after all the things on earth had been killed. Absolutely everything except what was on the ship, and so, or the ark I should say, and he let the waters down. And after he did that, he realized that he was really sad that he had to do that, so he made a promise to Noah and to all the people in his family that the Lord would never destroy creation again, because it really broke his heart to have to destroy what he had created. So that was God's promise, and life just continued on. All the animals that were on the ship reproduced. Noah and his family continued and created another population of humans. And we go down for quite a long time until sin starts to spread again, but it's not as bad as before. And like God had said earlier, he wasn't going to destroy his creation because it made him so sad. So he told a man named Abraham, who was of faith from God. This is very similar to Noah. A lot of sin had spread, but Abraham and his wife were still faithful to God. And he told Abraham that he would have a son, and this, even though Abraham at this time was like almost 100 years old, same with his wife, so they're way past the age to have a child, obviously, and so they're kind of like, yeah, right, but the Lord actually gives them a son, and with that son, he promises Abraham and his wife that they will be the coming of a new nation that would later be called Israel, and that it would be the Lord's chosen nation. Now, this again fulfills the promise that he had made earlier, because he didn't want to destroy the earth, so instead he created a special nation that he would, specifically love, and that sort of thing. So, yeah, sure enough, they had that son, and their nation multiplied and thrived for quite a long time. And then, over time, like all sin has made people, Israel started to disobey God once again, and this is really, really sad. But as we're going to learn, especially throughout this next video, Israel was terrible about obeying God as a whole, and so they basically just disobeyed God like crazy. And sure enough, because of that, they were punished, because sin cannot go unpunished. That's just how that's just how God made the earth. Sin can't go unpunished. So what happened was Israel was put into slavery by the Egyptians. Obviously, you guys, I'm sure, know the Egyptians, the pyramids and everything. But yeah, the Israelites were pretty much the people who made all those sorts of things, and it was backbreaking labor, and they were in slavery for 400 years. So if you can even imagine that, that would be, let me think off the top of my head, that's like probably 15 generations worth of people just in slavery back to back to back. However, that is going to be where we leave off until the next episode. A little bit of a cliffhanger. How are they going to get out of slavery? You're going to find that out in the next episode. But anyway, yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this thing. Please let me know. Please leave comments if you enjoyed it or not. And if you have any questions, please be sure to leave a comment. And if you do have any comments to make, if they are not polite, I'm going to delete them. So just make sure they're polite. I don't care what you say. I don't care what it is. As long as you're polite, it won't get deleted. But if you're rude in any sort of way, then I'm just going to delete it, which is the best way to avoid making huge religious arguments in the comment section. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next week, going from, this point in the Old Testament all the way up until the beginning of the New Testament. If you learned anything, please let me know. I'll see you guys later. Hope you enjoyed the gameplay. And one last thing, I'm going to be going slow on the videos because life is getting ridiculously busy for me. But next weekend, hopefully I'll be able to get out that next video, and I'll see you later. Peace out, everyone. Bye-bye.